Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful morning when everybody shows up and answers a call. So on behalf of our Janitors Union, Local 87, I want to say thank you to all of my labor siblings, all of the electeds, our international president of SEIU made it out here, our federal, our state, all of our leaders, our supervisors, everyone who's anyone in San Francisco is here this morning, either in person themselves or have sent a representative. It's a good day in San Francisco to show our strength, our power, and not panic, right? So with that, I want to be able to make sure that we introduce our city attorney. This guy has come out from the ring punching, right, straight into the courthouse, defending the birthright citizenship, our city attorney, David Chu. Big round of applause.
Thank you. Good morning. Buenos dias. Daigaho. Are we here to stand with immigrants? Are we here to stand with our families? Yes. Are we here to stand with our workers?
Yes.
Donald Trump, this is what community looks like. We gather here today because we remember who we are as Americans. Our city, our state, our country was built on the backs of immigrants. From our workers who provide our food, who clean our buildings, who take care of us when we're sick, immigrants, they get the job done. And our past, our future, our present has always been dependent on immigrants. And I just want to say to everyone here, I know how personal this is. For me, as the first kid in my family born here in this United States, for so many of us here, San Franciscans, Californians, who are either immigrants or children of immigrants. This is why a day after Donald Trump's inauguration, my office was part of the first filing of a government lawsuit challenging Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship because he is doing things that are unconstitutional. Eight years ago, when Donald Trump first came into office, he came after San Francisco. He tried to cut off federal funding because we are a sanctuary city. The lawyers in my office stood up, fought back, and we won. And I'm here to tell you that we will do it again if we have to.
That's right.
This is not a fight any of us relish. Let me be clear. We are not bringing this fight, but if he chooses to violate the rule of law, we will meet him in court. For a moment, let me just say, because there's been a lot of confusion about this, what is sanctuary policy? For decades in our city and in hundreds of cities across America, the purpose of sanctuary laws has been to protect public safety. When immigrant families trust law enforcement, victims and witnesses come forward. Criminals are arrested, crimes are solved, and we know what happens when the opposite is true. We know that effective law enforcement requires community trust. To be safe, our immigrant families and workers must trust. Our victims and witnesses need to know that our police officers are not ICE agents. It is the federal government's responsibility to enforce immigration law. It is not the responsibility of local government or state government. And let me make this clear. San Francisco fully complies with federal law. Nothing in our local law interferes or impedes federal immigration enforcement. Our city is not encouraging our people to impede lawful immigration actions. Our policy simply says you cannot deputize local law enforcement as ICE agents. With scarce resources, we have to prioritize those resources to fight crime, not break up families. Let me just close by saying that the legal professionals in the San Francisco City Attorney's Office and as your city attorney, we are going to stand up for the law. We are going to stand with community. Again, are we ready to stand by our immigrants? Yeah. Are we ready to stand by our families? Yeah. Are we ready to stand for San Francisco and America? Yeah. Thank you so much for being out here.
Now I'd like to be able to introduce to all of you our District Attorney, Brooke Jenkins, and I just want to be able to say there's been a lot of assaults The city lights sparkle and the skyline is as beautiful as it is because of the work that our janitors do. That's why there's a beautiful skyline light. Those are my members turning on and off the lights of these buildings, and this is why it sparkles. With that, we've also had a number of assaults, and the person that we've always called on after SFPD has always been on our district attorney, Brooke Jenkins. Big round of applause for her. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I stand here as a partner in making sure that our immigrant communities know that San Francisco's leadership stands with them. As the daughter of a father who is from El Salvador, who I didn't get to be raised with in part because he was not a citizen here, I fully know what it feels like to have your family separated based on where you are a citizen of or are from. And so when I do my work each and every day, it's to make sure not only that we keep immigrant communities safe from crime, but that we also ensure that our immigrants here in the city of San Francisco feel safe enough to report the crimes that are happening to them. And that is my job. And so we will continue to do everything in our power to ensure that victims of crime, no matter what your status is, feel comfortable reporting it to the police, knowing that if they come forward, there will be no retribution for them. That my office is doing nothing in coordination with any federal immigration enforcement whatsoever, that you are safe to come forward, and that we will protect our victims and witnesses when sometimes they are even threatened by the defense that there could be immigration consequences if they testify or cooperate with the prosecution. And so we will continue to do everything that we can to partner with everybody that you see on stage to make sure that we are keeping our community safe, that we are making sure that this chaotic situation that we have going on across our country right now is clear as we can make it for the immigrants right now that feel so scared and feel like they can't go to work or drop their kids off at school or can't report crime, because that is our job. And the other thing that I would like to do today is to invite stakeholders up here today into my office to have a discussion to make sure that we are spreading the word that victims are safe to come forward and to cooperate with my office. And so thank you to everybody here. We will continue to fight together.
I also want to be able to make mention of my labor siblings that are here present, so I'm going to ask them to please come forward. We got our Unite Here, who just won an incredible contract after 90 days of being out on strike. My sister Deborah Grabel from Local 21 was here. Teamsters 350, if you can please step up, that are here as well. John Bouchard, Roberto Sandoval. My siblings from Local 798 that are here from the firefighters. We got Ayatsi as well. My janitors, SEIU Local 87. We got the Teachers Union from UESF, who you will also continue to hear from, but at this moment, I'd like to be able to ask my brother Anand to be able to speak, and then our international president, April Verrett.
Thank you, Olga. On behalf of hotel and hospitality workers, we're proud to stand amongst the leaders of the labor movement, the elected leaders of the city and county of San Francisco, so many leaders of community organizations and groups and neighborhoods that make our city great, to reaffirm the values of the city as a sanctuary city today. It's, I think, important for us to send that message outward, that this city is a sanctuary city, that we have certain values that each of us will defend, and at the same time, for each of us to look inward, because it's each of our responsibility, all of us collectively as San Franciscans, to stand up and defend those that are under attack. Because those things that we celebrate, our diversity, our wealth of experience, those things we lift up in this city, cannot be used as cudgels or weapons to divide and conquer. And so we must stand united. I think the show of unity here is for all to see. This is a united city when it comes to defending the values of working people and all communities in San Francisco. And the labor movement and the workers of Local 2 are proud to be a part of that. Thank you.
Our international president, April Verrett, flew all the way in from DC last night to be able to be here this morning. Thank you so much, President Verrett.
Thank you so much to my sister, Olga Miranda from SEIU Local 87. It's great to be back home in California. Thank you. And it's like the sun is shining. I almost feel like I'm in LA. I bring the greetings and the solidarity of the 2 million members of SEIU across this country to say simply, we are not defeated. We are determined. We are not decimated. We are defiant. We are not downtrodden. What we are is dead ass. We are dead ass committed to standing up. We are dead ass committed to standing up against hate, against bigotry, against the chaos that is being sown across our country. And today that looks like us standing arm in arm with the immigrants, not just in San Francisco, not just in California, but across this entire country. We will not let our siblings, our neighbors, our family, our friends, our coworkers, people we depend on every single day to make sure that the way we live here in America, right, this so-called American dream, ain't none of it possible without the labor, the commitment, the tenacity, the contributions of immigrants. We know that. We know that. And so in this moment, we are going to stand strong. We're going to be strategic, right? We cannot let the chaos that is being sown tear us apart. We can't let it make us afraid. We can't let it push us further into the shadows. We got to stand in the sun, sisters and brothers and siblings. We got to stand in the sun and say, this is our damn country, and you are not going to push us out of it. And so the 2 million members of SEIU are in this fight. We are not going anywhere. We are not backing down. We do that in solidarity across the labor movement. We do that in solidarity with our champions that we've elected to office. And we do that in solidarity with our neighbors and our friends. So thank you all so much for having me.
I want to be able to reiterate again that the purpose of this press conference is to show the country, so goes San Francisco, so goes the rest of the country. This is unity. This is unity at every level of government, local, municipal. We have all stepped up. Every worker and whether it's public or private, community allies, organizers, everybody in San Francisco. This is the beauty of our unity. It's what makes us strong. We are ready. We are ready to speak up for each other. We have stood up for each other. And this is the example that you win and we win when we're united. With that, I want to be able to ask our supervisor, Shaman Walton, who every time we call him for help, he never lingers. He doesn't say, let me call you back, let me think about it. He's the guy that's like, what time, where, and what do you need? This is the kind of leadership that we're so grateful to have in City Hall. And then after that, it'll be our supervisor, new supervisor, Jackie Fielder for D9, that's going to be coming up here and sharing a few words. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for our supervisor, Walton.
Thank you, Olga. First and foremost, we are a sanctuary city. We stand here together with labor, with elected officials, with law enforcement, with community to let you know that this fight will not stop. The fight ahead for our immigrant community will require us to fight with our resources. It will require us to fight with information, but most importantly, it will require us to fight with our voices. Some people didn't show up today because for some reason they think this fight is not about them. But I stand directly in front of you, in front of the TV cameras, to let you know that it may not be you today, but if you sit by and watch injustice, it will for sure be you tomorrow.
That's right.
We are going to make sure that our sanctuary policies and laws that have been in place for decades here in San Francisco continue. We are not going to support warrantless searches. We are not going to provide resources to separate families and to separate communities here in San Francisco. And we will fight this administration consistently every single day until the message is received. And the last thing I want to say is, as a black man, if I was convicted of one felony, I assure you I wouldn't be standing here today. The new administration's leader is a convicted felon and continues to lead by fear. But we in San Francisco will not be scared, and we will come together as an entire city and as an entire community. Thank you.
Supervisor Fielder, everybody, a big round of applause.
Give it up for my colleague, Supervisor Walton. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you to the janitors for bringing us all together. I see the superintendent, Maria Sue. I see Chief Scott. I see our district attorney. This is nothing short of the result of grassroots organizers for the past 30 plus years to make sure that our city holds true to our commitment to being a sanctuary city for immigrants. So please give it up for our organizers who have fought to make sure that all of us stand here united today. I also want to thank the underpaid, overworked staff at immigration legal nonprofits, at the Rapid Response Line, who have really been the structure that upholds this entire sanctuary city and our entire response system. We would not be here without them. And after all of this today, I want to see every single person here back here during budget season to make sure that those organizations, those staff members have the resources that we are asking them to provide. There are factions of this city and this country that want to see cities like San Francisco roll back their sanctuary policies. And 2 weeks ago, I introduced a resolution at our Board of Supervisors to make sure that we did not do this here in San Francisco. All 10 of my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors co-sponsored this resolution. And what that should communicate to Trump, to anyone that wants to see us roll back, is we are not going back. We are here with our immigrant neighbors. We will be here whether you are a tech CEO, a tech worker, a student, a janitor. No matter your status, you deserve to feel safe, and that is exactly what Sanctuary is about. I'm going to pass it off to the rest of my colleagues, but I just want to thank you all for being out here. And again, if this city has money for luxury real estate developers, it has money for the system, the advocates, the staff to provide the resources that our immigrant community deserves and has been needing this entire time. So thank you so much.
At this time, I'd like to be able to call. Oh, I'm glad I'm not cursing right now. Our mayor, Daniel Lurie.
Thank you all. First, Olga, thank you for bringing us together and all of Local 87. And I thank all of you for being here today. I know there is uncertainty and fear throughout our immigrant communities right now. Over the last several days, I've spoken to many of the people here and our community leaders. I have heard that fear. And though we are in a challenging moment right now, I am inspired to see so many of us come together to support our neighbors. But as mayor, I want everyone here, everyone, and across our city to hear this directly from me. In San Francisco, we value our immigrant communities. We recognize your contributions to our city, and we stand with you. You belong here. I've always said that public safety is my first priority. That means everyone in our city should feel comfortable interacting with local law enforcement and accessing city services. For decades, we have had policies that do that. These policies make us all safer, and you have my commitment to uphold them. I will end with this. If you are feeling anxious or scared, there are resources available. Please visit immigrants.sf.gov for more support. And to our immigrant neighbors, this city is your home. And know that I and everyone here will continue working to make sure it remains a safe and welcoming home for all families, no matter where you come from. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate it. Our international president. At this time, I want to be able to invite our sister Susana Rojas from the Latino Task Force, who were on site in a matter of hours to be able to talk to our janitors on Friday night. A big round of applause for her.
Buenas tardes a todos. Good afternoon, everybody. I am here to remind us all that we are seeds. This is not the first attack that we've had in our community. We've had to face many things and many fears in our lives, but we have never given up because we are seeds. And I want to remind that it is all of us, from the youngest to the young, from the oldest to the old, that is going to beat this. We all have a space, we all have a job to do. From being able to tell someone that they're welcome, giving them a happy smile, letting them know that you will be there to document, to let people know if there is any abuse, because abuse is never welcome in San Francisco. We are a warrior city, and we will continue to fight. So terror does not take place with us. Fear does not take a hold of us. We fight, we organize, and we make sure that we protect those who are most vulnerable. It is all of our duty, from the most vulnerable to the most privileged. We all can do together. United, we stand. United, we will win. Thank you.
El pueblo está presente, se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente. Un aplauso, queremos poder, we want to be able to give a big round of applause to our public defender, Manu Raj.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Manoj Raju, the elected public defender of San Francisco, and I'm the proud child of immigrants who came from a farming village in India. And for those of you who are the descendant or immigrants yourselves, that immigration story is one that takes tremendous, tremendous courage. And we're here to honor those immigrant stories and honor the immigrants that compose San Francisco. Public defense is immigrant defense, right? And we are about collective power, not panic, right? Power, power, not panic. Power, not panic. Not panic. In the public defender's office, our vision is a world where collective humanity is cherished. Not a slice of humanity, but collective humanity. Refugees and immigrants comprise 1 in every 3 San Francisco residents, and they are a vital part of our city's heart. They are a vital part of our city's identity. San Francisco's historic sanctuary ordinance, adopted in 1989 and one of the first in the country, is critical to upholding our values of equality, our values of inclusion, and building strong and safe communities. Immigrants are a vital and inseparable part of our city, vital and inseparable part of our families, communities, workplaces, and neighborhoods. We in the Public Defender's Office believe in equality and opportunity for all. San Francisco will not use its local resources to deport immigrants and to undermine community trust. And our sanctuary ordinance promotes community safety. This long-standing law helps victims and witnesses, including survivors of domestic violence, come forward and get the help they need without fear of deportation. Study after study after study, let me be clear, has confirmed that public safety benefits of sanctuary policies. Cities and counties with sanctuary policies have less crime and are more economically prosperous. We're going to talk about facts, not rhetoric, okay? Our sanctuary ordinance keeps families together and ensures that our local tax dollars are used to promote safety for all San Franciscans, not to separate families through mass deportation. Sanctuary ensures that all San Francisco residents can participate in our communities. Everyone deserves to feel safe bringing their children to school. Everyone deserves to feel safe accessing care and support. Everyone deserves to feel safe going to hospitals without fear of discrimination based on the color of their skin or based on being subjected to ICE detention and deportation. San Francisco was one of the first cities in the country to develop a sanctuary policy, and this has led the way for over 350 other jurisdictions to adopt sanctuary laws. We are leaders in this area, and we're not ashamed of that history. We're proud of that history. And you know what? We're not going back. Thank you.
On Friday, when I showed up at some of these buildings, the first people that they called, right, after their bosses was SFPD. And with that, I want to be able to tell you, these are the men and women that put themselves out there to be able to make sure that our members and workers throughout the city feel safe. I'd like to ask all of you to please give a round of applause to our Chief, Bill Scott.
Thank you, Olga. There are so many people to thank, but I just want to take a second to thank Olga, SEIU, Supervisor Fielder, Supervisor Walton, all the board that's up here, all of our elected officials, and most importantly, community. Just take a second and look around. Just a second and look around. Whether you're on this side of the camera, behind the camera, or on that side, what you will see is the beauty of this city. You will see diversity. You will see people from every corner of the world, because that is who we are. And that is who we will always be. So I want to make some things very clear. First of all, the San Francisco Police Department does not assist in immigration raids. More generally, the city provides services without regard to immigration status and without collecting information about immigration status unless it's required by state or federal law. Next, targeting immigrants who have built families, businesses, and homes here does not improve public safety. It does the exact opposite. It makes people fearful to report crimes or to obtain needed health care or city services. It makes children afraid to go to school, to the library, to the playgrounds, and that is not what we want. The San Francisco Police Department is committed to building your trust, and particularly trust with our immigrant communities. We have a sanctuary ordinance, a state law, SB 54, that generally prohibits our police department from participating in immigration enforcement. Our policy, our General Order 5.15, requires officers to follow the law that generally prohibits the use of city resources to assist in the enforcement of federal immigration laws, except when required by federal or state law. Immigration enforcement is the federal government's job. Let me say that again. I'm going to repeat what our city attorney said. Immigration enforcement is the federal government's job. It is not the responsibility of the SFPD or any of our state or local governments. San Francisco is in full compliance with federal law. The purpose of our local sanctuary laws is not to interfere or impede with federal law enforcement. It is to keep our city safe. And our sanctuary laws, as you have heard from many of our previous speakers, has been on the books for decades. The purpose is simple. It's to improve public safety. And they have proven to do just that. The San Francisco Police Department cannot control the actions of the federal government officials or prevent them from conducting their lawful duties here. But one thing that I will tell you is that this city and this police department remains steadfast in its commitment to being a sanctuary city. That is who we are, and that is who we will always be. Thank you.
In labor, we have over 150 unions here in San Francisco that represent in every sector, public, private. All of these beautiful buildings, brick by brick, were hand put there and built by union hands. With that, we have our executive director, who's an incredible fighter for all of working families in the city and county of San Francisco. Big round of applause for Kim Tavaloni. Thank you.
The San Francisco Labor Council remains totally 100% committed to Sanctuary City, and we will fight like hell to make sure that it is not amended. None of the rights are taken away. Workers, whether immigrant or citizens or whatever, San Francisco Labor Council remains committed to representing every worker in this city to the best of our ability, and that means defending your rights, all of your rights. Whether walking down the street, at the workplace, we will not let employers or this administration take away your basic working rights. You have a lot of rights, and we want to make sure, and we're going to do our best to reach out to every worker in every corner of this city to make sure that they know that they have those rights and what those rights are and how we can work together to keep our community intact, because that, in the end, is the most important thing. Thank you.
Our superintendent of schools for the San Francisco Unified School District, Maria Sue. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Olga. First and foremost, I am honored to be here. And then secondly, I am also a daughter of immigrants. My family escaped persecution over in Vietnam to come to this country to make a living and be prosperous and thrive and receive the prosperity of this country. So I too feel deeply the pain and the hurt that is happening in our country right now. Second, San Francisco Public School, San Francisco Unified School District will always be a safe place for our students to learn and to thrive, period. San Francisco has always been the gateway for opportunity and innovation and cultural exchange. San Francisco's public school provides, through our fantastic educators, our site leaders, and all of our staff, the foundational structure to nurture our youngest residents. We are here to ensure that all students have access to consistent, quality education, as well as build their sense of safety and emotional wellness. Once again, our schools must be and will remain a safe place for all of our children to learn and for our staff to support them. We are proud to serve thousands of students who come to us from all over the world. In SFUSD, we are committed to providing a safe, inclusive environment for all of our students, regardless of immigration status. We do not collect that information. We want every student to feel empowered in knowing that they have a right to attend our school and that their safety, dignity, and well-being are our highest priority. I am so proud to stand here with all of our city leaders alongside our largest labor partners to make sure that the message is clear that we are here to protect our students, to ensure that our families can rely on our schools and rely on our staff for support. I thank the mayor, I thank our city attorney, I thank all of our school board members, our commissioners, and our board of supervisors for standing arm in arm to protect our students and our families. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to be able to introduce to you one of our allies in the community, but also in the courtroom defending folks that are being detained. Director Artie Calling from the Asian Law Caucus. Thank you. So sorry, sister.
Good morning, San Francisco. Morning. My name is Arti Kohli. I'm from the Asian Law Caucus. I want to talk just for a second about our history. San Francisco's story is inseparable from its Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. Since the 1800s, when Chinese immigrants helped build this city, despite enduring the Chinese Exclusion Act and widespread discrimination, our communities have demonstrated unwavering resilience and commitment to justice. The API community knows the pain of being told we don't belong, of families separated by unjust laws, of being treated as perpetual foreigners in our own home. But let me be clear, we all have fundamental rights, regardless of immigration status. Every person has the right to remain silent, the right to an attorney, and the right to refuse entry without a judicial warrant. But having rights isn't enough. We must know them and assert them. That's why community education is crucial. Every employer needs to understand they don't have to let ICE enter private spaces without a warrant. Every principal and teacher must know they can protect student information. Landlords must understand that they have no obligation to share tenant information. This isn't just about policies. It's about all of us stepping up to protect our community members. To our immigrant communities, know your rights, share this knowledge, and remember, you are not alone. The Asian Law Caucus and all the organizations here today stand ready to defend these rights and to support you. Together, and I really need to emphasize this, it is not just one sector of our community, it's all of us. We will ensure that San Francisco remains true to its values of inclusion, protection, and justice for all who call this city home.
We want to make sure that everyone feels safe to be able to report things when they see them. With that, I want to be able to ask our Sheriff Paul Miyamoto, who's going to be sharing a few words. Thank you.
Good morning. Again, to reiterate, we want to be clear. The Sheriff's Office does not and will not take part in immigration raids or any federal law enforcement actions directed towards the immigrant community. Our job is to improve public safety by ensuring everyone, including members of our immigrant community, feel safe reporting crimes or seeking help from the Sheriff's Office or Police Department without any fear of reprisal or deportation. I will share that my office is unique in that we are, through the ordinance, the only office that may contact federal immigration officials if they ask when a serious or violent felon is leaving our custody. And then only if that person meets very specific criteria defined in local law will we inform ICE of that person's release date. One of the truly San Francisco aspects of that law is the fact that we weigh the public safety risk against evidence and information of that person's attempts at rehabilitation while they are in our care. And that is a weight which magnifies San Francisco values in making that determination and ensures that we are taking care of our community the best way possible. Unfortunately, there are people who commit crimes against our community, not just the general community, but also our immigrant community. Sometimes people have to be held accountable for that. And our laws ensure that only the most serious, violent people who are victimizing and taking opportunity to victimize our community are held accountable. This should not be interpreted in any way as something outside of our values here in San Francisco. And I carry that as the sheriff as a significant, very relevant responsibility to ensure that our values are upheld in the work that we do to keep everybody safe. And the unity and community that you see up here with both law enforcement, community partners, elected officials, unions, and labor groups should be indicative of the strength we have in that commitment. Thank you.
Carecen has been an incredible partner in San Francisco and whose roots, right, are San Francisco. Statewide, the interests of all the fights that they've taken on and defended immigrants as an entire base throughout the entire state of California. Our executive director of Carecen, Larissa, can I please have a big round of applause for this sister? Thank you.
Buenos días. ¿Qué queremos? Más alto. ¿Qué queremos? What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When?
Now.
When?
Now.
This is San Francisco. This is a city that we love. Buenos días. Today, we're here to affirm our unity. We're here to affirm our values of sanctuary and inclusion and making sure that this is a city where everyone has a right to thrive. And today we're also here to remind our community that a prepared community, an informed community is a prepared community. And so I'm going to focus on rights because this is really about upholding rights, existing rights. The right to not open the door. The right to remain silent. The right to make a phone call. The right to have an audience before a judge, due process. The right to make sure your physical integrity is respected. The right to not sign documents. The right to determine if you qualify for an existing program. And most importantly, the right to seek asylum. Immigration, the right to human mobility is a human right. And sadly, the drivers of migration from around the globe persist today. 30 years ago, Carecen, well, actually almost 40 years ago, our people fled wars financed by the U.S. government. Today, that is still true in other corners around the globe. And there are several drivers of forced migration, and we come here to thrive. We come here to assert our right to migrate. We come here to assert our right to life. So, gente, tenemos derechos, no rindamos nuestros derechos, enforcemos e implementemos nuestros derechos porque los tenemos y nadie nos los va a quitar.
I want to be able to give a big shout out to our city administrator, Carmen Chu. Un aplauso para nuestra administradora de la ciudad, Carmen Chu. And at this time, I'd like to be able to ask another one of our strong community allies that speak up but also handle where our members live, right? Malcolm Young from the Chinatown Community Development Center. Un aplauso para Malcolm Young. This is what all of San Francisco looks like, right?
Thank you, brother. Sorry. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Olga, and thank you to everybody for putting this together, for standing up in solidarity. I'm going to be quick today because, you know, a lot of things have been said. I'm here just to really remind this city and this county that just like the city itself, Chinatown is also a sanctuary community. Chinatown was founded on the principle of sanctuary. From 1885 to 1887, there were hundreds of anti-Chinese riots across the state of California, across the western United States. People were lynched, they were killed, they were robbed, they were driven out of their small towns. And in that moment, San Francisco Chinatown became a sanctuary community. We've been one since 1885, and today we need to remain one, and that is our commitment. I want to thank our families from our single-room occupancies for being out here today, for taking the time away from work, from their families to stand here with all of you, because these are the people that represent our community. These are the people that are the immigrants that need our communities as gateways into economic success. And in times of crisis, these are the people that need sanctuary. So thank you very much for standing with us today. And as we're moving into Lunar New Year, tomorrow is Lunar New Year Day, I just want to remind everybody we celebrate out of joy. We celebrate, however, also to remind ourselves of community, and community is ultimately about solidarity. Solidarity is beautiful, so I want to end with this. I want everyone to look to their person on their left. I want everyone to look to the person on their right, and I want you to tell them, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Thank you.
So,
specifically call these three because they're the three immigrants.
at this time, I'd like to be able to call all of our leadership within this beautiful building that we have behind us as our backdrop. Our president of the Board of Supervisors, Raphael Mandelman. And three of the first districts that I want to be able to mention is District 11, District 9, District 10. We have Supervisor Cheyenne, Supervisor Melgar, Supervisor Connie Chan. If everybody can please come up here. Supervisor Mohammed Bilal, Supervisor Stephen, Supervisor Joel Engardio, Supervisor Connie Chan, and I want to be able to open with the President, Raphael Mandelman. Thank you.
All right, and I'm going to introduce District 7 Supervisor Myrna Melgar.
Muchas gracias, presidente. Yo soy inmigrante, orgullosamente inmigrante y refugiada de una guerra en Centroamérica, una guerra fundada por nuestro gobierno federal. I am a proud immigrant and a refugee from a war funded by the U.S. government in El Salvador, in my country. In this city, gave my family refuge from violence and an opportunity to thrive, like it has done for thousands of people in this generation and previous generation for decades. We are so proud to be here. We are so proud to be leading the city. I'm so proud to be here with my union brothers and sisters. And I want to issue a challenge to some folks who are not here, who should be. The Chamber of Commerce, the folks in the Restaurant Association, folks who depend on immigrant labor, who should be here because we are all united in this city to make sure that we thrive, that we continue to thrive, because we're all in this together. So thank you, President, for this opportunity. And I want to give a special shout out to Connie Chan, my colleague from District 1, with whom I share an immigrant story, and Cheyenne Chen, my colleague from District 11, who also is a proud immigrant and a mother. Thank you.
I'd like to bring up District 1 Supervisor Connie Chan.
As an immigrant, first-generation immigrant in San Francisco, I'm going to take this opportunity, though, to first express my gratitude. My gratitude to the Ramaytush Ohlone people and land. My gratitude to generations of San Franciscans and the generations of immigrants that came before us. It is because of all of you that we get to stand on this land in San Francisco today. Thank you. And continuing with that spirit and with that heart, that we know that San Francisco is a sanctuary city. We will always be a sanctuary city. I grew up in San Francisco, and that was the 1990s, and now you know how old I am. I went to Galileo High School. Those were the times I remember that thanks to my teachers and thanks to my principal at that time, that I know that if there were ICE agents coming to our school, I was going to be able to get a hall pass. I was going to be able to get a notification that I know where I needed to go, because our school sites are sanctuary for our students and families. But like our city attorney, David Chu, said, if you are coming after us, if you're going to take our immigration rights away, we will stand up and fight back. So let me hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear. What do we do? What will we do? We gotta let them hear one more time. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. And you know what? We will, and we will prevail. Thank you.
District 11 Supervisor Cheyenne Chen.
Good afternoon. Sanctuary City is not about policy. It is about people, regardless of your immigration status. I ran for San Francisco Board Supervisor position because I believe in investing in people. I believe in building communities, regardless of your immigrant status, regardless of your race. This is a city where we embrace the beauty of people. I am a proud immigrant. I am also firmly stand here today as a mother that I want our children taking buses to go to school. Like my daughter who takes 29, I want she to feel safe and protected. I want our families to continue to feel safe going out to shop, going out to work, going out to park, to our beautiful park. It is really important to be reminded, this city, it's about people. This city, everyone who are standing here, who are not here, we want you to know we are collectively together in solidarity to make sure everyone in San Francisco is feeling protected and safe, and we are always here to fight for our community, fight for our working families, fight for our future, fight for our children, and thank you.
From District 2, Stephen Sherrill.
I'm Stephen Sherrill, District 2 Supervisor here in the greatest city in the world, and today is about unity. I want to thank Olga and Local 87 for bringing us together today to support our neighbors, our families, our workers, our community against this administration and its egregious executive orders that have led to distressing realities for families here and across America. We stand with immigrants, we stand with our union members and our labor leaders and the organizers on the ground. And I'm grateful that we have a city attorney like David Chu who's leading the way in the courtrooms. Today is about unity, and today we stand united. Thank you.
From District 3, Danny Sauter.
Thank you. Danny Sauter, proud to be the District 3 Supervisor, a district built by immigrants in a city built by immigrants. And as we're here today, I think back to this summer when, alongside many of my colleagues, I had a chance to join the hardworking men and women of this union, SEIU 87. We shadowed them as they cleaned our downtown buildings. Floor by floor, desk by desk, we observed them working hard, working diligently. And to be clear, San Francisco has problems, we have challenges, but the communities being targeted are not one of them. They are our neighbors, They are our friends, our colleagues. They are San Francisco. And so the idea that this new administration would spend its time coming into our city and terrorizing these hardworking communities is not only insulting, it is counterproductive. It goes against our values not only as San Franciscans, but our values as Americans. I'm happy to see every single one of my colleagues alongside me today standing here united, saying that our city has the backs of immigrants no matter what, that no matter what hatred or rhetoric is thrown our way, we will stand united, resilient, and live up to the values of our country and of our city. Thank you.
From District 4, Joel Engardio.
Thank you. I have a very simple message. If you want a safe city, you must support a sanctuary city. Sanctuary city, the whole point, the whole purpose is to make sure that people feel safe testifying to crimes and reporting crimes. So a safe city is a sanctuary city. And I want to end by saying that immigrants built our nation, immigrants make our country better, and in San Francisco, we support and celebrate our immigrant community. Thank you.
From District 5, Bilal Mahmood.
Thanks, Olga. My name is Bilal Mahmood. I am the supervisor of District 5, which covers from the Tenderloin to the Fillmore to the Haight. And there's one thing extremely unique about District 5 and those neighborhoods that I mentioned is that for decades, our district has been a hub for immigrants, for refugees, from Yemen, like our janitors, and the Yemeni janitors here in Local 87. To Ethiopia and Eritrea and the Fillmore, to the Vietnamese and Little Saigon. We've always been a hub in a community, and as the first South Asian on our Board of Supervisors and as the first Muslim on our supervisors, I'm here today to say that there's a very strong principle in the Muslim faith, which is when one member of our community is targeted, every member of our community is targeted. When one member of our community is under threat, every member of our community is under threat. And when one member of our community needs help, we all step up and help them fight against injustice. Over the weekend, when I heard first about these raids, my very first call in that principle of community was to Olga and asked her what's happening, and she assured us that while their members were safe, they are scared, and they needed security and a principle of security and safety. My second set of calls was to SFPD, and as we heard from Chief Scott, District Attorney Brooke Jenkins, our Public Defender Manu Raju, and our City Attorney David Chu, we have a firm commitment here that our Sanctuary City is here to stay, because Sanctuary City is not in conflict with a safe city, as Joel Engardio just said as well, and we are going to maintain that and continue to commit that to our neighborhoods, to our community, because without Sanctuary City, we cannot engender a sense of trust, and without trust, we cannot ensure public safety here in San Francisco, and that is our commitment, and thank you all for being here again today.
And from District 6, Matt Dorsey.
Thanks, everybody. I'm Supervisor Matt Dorsey, and it has been my honor to serve this city, 14 years of which in a San Francisco City Attorney's Office that fought again and again successfully to uphold our city's sanctuary city policies. And for those who look at sanctuary as an ideological issue, I want to just remind everybody about the important principles that underlie it. The federal government is responsible for immigration, not local governments. Who said that? The Founding Fathers said it. Where do they say it? In the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. And how long has it been there? Since 1791. That is the principle upon which Sanctuary City stands, and I'm proud to stand with my colleagues, policymakers, law enforcement professionals, to do everything that we can do to protect the public safety of San Franciscans, irrespective of their citizenship status. No human being is illegal, and I'm proud to stand with you for Sanctuary.
And that's it, folks. That is your San Francisco Board of Supervisors. And although we disagree on some things, we completely agree in our support for sanctuary, for our immigrant community, and our determination to protect San Francisco as a sanctuary city. Thank you, City Attorney David Chu, for your work. Thanks to all the labor unions and community organizations that are doing that work. We're going to take care of all of our people, regardless of their immigration status. Thanks, everybody.
I just want to be able to ask Supervisor Jackie Fielder and Shaman Walton if they can step up. I want to thank them in front of all of you, right? And for their incredible leadership in being able to host us, being able to talk to everybody, bringing everybody together. And I just wanted to be able to thank you for your leadership. Thank you so much in doing this. And to our mayor for also having taken the time to been out here this morning. I want to be able to have Jorge Rivas and Sanika Mahajan from Mission Action Network. This is the group that's responsible for the Rapid Response Network. And I want to make sure that our community allies, our mayor of the Mission, Roberto Hernandez, and my brother from UESF, who's from the Teachers Union, is going to be talking to all of you as well. But a big round of applause for Jorge Rivas and Sanika Mahajan. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. How are we feeling? Yeah. Mission Action is the lead organization of the San Francisco Rapid Response Network. And for decades now, we've been doing the work of defending and supporting immigrants in San Francisco and the Bay Area. We have a 24/7 hotline that anyone can call, and upon verification of any ICE arrests, we will activate the attorneys that we have ready to represent our immigrant communities. So before anything else, I want to greatly underscore the importance of calling the hotline for anyone who witnesses what they believe is an ICE detention or arrest. Please also take video from a safe distance to help us verify that activity. The hotline phone number is 415-200-1548. One more time for the record, it's 415-200-1548. And this is one of the best ways for us to respond with resources and information rather than panic or misinformation. The right wing wants us to believe that immigrants are the cause of rising prices, the lack of good jobs, and violent crime. But that is a bold-faced lie. The real reason why working people here or abroad experience so much hardship is that the wealth that we create through our labor goes to a tiny handful of ultra-rich people and corporations. Immigrants often leave their homes in other countries due to US-funded wars, violence, and economic hardship caused by these very same ultra-rich people and corporations. The right wing is running what can only be called a campaign of terror against our immigrant communities because they know that fear can be an incredibly effective tactic. They want to divide us up to prevent us from realizing our power. But we in San Francisco know the reality, is that right? Yeah. Immigrants and working people make this city run. They make this country run. They provide the labor and infrastructure that makes this economy, and therefore we also hold the power. Mission Action is also part of the Free SF Coalition, and for over 15 years, Free SF has defended the historic sanctuary ordinance, and we must continue to be vigilant to defend sanctuary. We must fight any two-tiered system that tries to discriminate against immigrants or deprive them of due process. We must fight any scapegoating of immigrants for crime or for the drug crisis, issues that we know are caused not by our immigrant communities, but by a refusal to house and support poor people and instead prioritize corporate interest. We must fight any attempts to carve out exceptions to sanctuary. To be clear, sanctuary wasn't handed to us. It was won by the determination and the organization of the working class who refused to abandon the immigrant cause and saw it as our own struggle, our own fight. We refuse to back down now. We will commit to defending sanctuary with everything that we have, and we're building a broad-based coalition to fight back. Unions, grassroots organizations, nonprofits, teachers, educators, students. So are we gonna fight? Yeah. Are we gonna fight? Yeah. And are we gonna win? Yeah. Are we gonna win? Yeah. Thanks, y'all.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Good morning, friends, neighbors, and colleagues. Thank you very much for being here and for showing up for justice, unity, and for each other. My name is Jorge Rivas, and I'm the director of the San Francisco Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs. My office works very closely with many people up here to make sure that we have enough resources to support our immigrant communities. Some of them that were already shared today by Mayor and by my previous speaker here for the rapid response, so I will not share those anymore. San Francisco is a city built by immigrants, shaped by diversity, and strengthened by the dreams of those who come here seeking opportunity, safety, and belonging. As a son of immigrant farm workers, I have seen the strength and the determination of our immigrant communities on an everyday basis. I see it in the strength in all of you. As I stand here today, my mother's on her way to take a citizenship exam. And I'm confident and I know she will pass. She decided to take the exam or take the next step in her immigration journey because of fear. Very unfortunate. But you know what? In my conversation with her, I realized that actually she decided to do this because of the promises of this country. Because she believes in those promises, in the promise of opportunity, safety, and belonging. So let today be a reminder that we are all here because we believe in that promise. A reminder that if in your immigration journey, you are not alone. We see you, we stand with you, and we will fight alongside you. Together, we will continue to build San Francisco that honors its values, a city that protects the rights, dignity, and humanity of all people, no matter where they were born. Thank you very much for being here, for showing up, and for standing together. Adelante.
At this time, I want to be able to ask our brother Frank Lara from the United Educators of San Francisco, UESF, who's going to give a few words about how teachers are being confronted and the schools and the classrooms are affected. With that, a big round of applause to our teachers union, UESF.
Gracias, Olga. Buenas tardes. I'm here with our treasurer, Jerry Almanza, longtime teacher at Cesar Chavez Elementary in the Mission. Myself, a longtime teacher at Buena Vista Horace Mann as well. This is not the first time educators are going to have to deal with this. In 2006, on top of every stress that educators have to face and with a little support, we also fought to defend our students, our families, and we will continue to do so. It is important, and this message is for our members. Over 6,000 members that serve 50,000 students and hundreds of thousands of families. We are here for you. We will defend you, defend your right to defend our students. Not only is our local union standing in support of sanctuary policy, but our state union and national union. The largest union in this country, the National Education Association, has committed resources to make sure that we are clear in our defense of public schools and the right that children have to a bright future and a strong education. What we do want to offer to the courageous elected officials here in San Francisco is that it is not just enough to welcome our families. It is not just enough to say that they will live without fear, but it is also their right to thrive, and that is the responsibility of every elected official. Next week in February, our organization, the United Educators of San Francisco, is concerned that there will be evictions and ending of housing policy that may lead to hundreds of families to be out in the streets.
3,000.
How many?
3,000.
3,000 families. And those largely are refugee families. And so we want to make sure that on top of today saying that they are safe, we also want to guarantee them a justified way of living in this city. Familias, compañeros, compañeras, señoras, señores, es importante que ustedes como la comunidad sepa que el lugar más seguro son las escuelas públicas. Ustedes ahorita como comunidad se tienen que apoyar y decir que el lugar más seguro son las escuelas públicas, porque este terror, lo que está ocurriendo, no solamente intenta robarse su futuro, también le quiere robar el futuro de sus niños. Y eso es una injusticia tremenda. No se dejen llevar por las noticias de los medios. Hable con su maestro, hable con su director y su directora. Asegúrese usted que con cualquier maestro que tenga esta playera, usted puede hablar con él, con ella y saber que uno lo va a defender. Y para los medios, ahorita no es un tiempo de estar neutral. Nuestra gente es cual los apoya. Ustedes tienen que informar día tras día la verdad de nuestros derechos y la verdad de que nuestras escuelas están seguras. Muchas gracias.
I want to be able to recognize que vivan los maestros. ¡Que vivan! ¡Que vivan los maestros! ¡Que vivan! I want to be able to bring up I want to recognize Luis Zamora, who is from the Community College Board. Quiero reconocer a nuestro a Luis Zamora, que es miembro de la mesa directiva de los colegios comunitarios de San Francisco. So with that, I want to be able to ask our brother Roberto Hernandez, who I like to call the mayor of the mission, right, to say a few words, and then we will be hearing words from our city assessor, Joaquin Torres, who's been here. He's a product of many, many generations of incredible, the Torres family statewide. With that, Roberto Hernandez, everybody.
Aquí estamos. Aquí estamos. Aquí estamos. You know, I was raised as an organizer as a teenager, and so I want to ask everybody we're going to put your hands together, okay? We're going to do the clap because that's what Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta taught us. Every time we got together, we organized, we create energy con amor del el espíritu de nuestro corazón, nuestra mente, nuestro cuerpo, pero más importante, la unidad. ¿Listos? Sí se puede, sí se puede, se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede. They're talking about fear. You know, fear is a weapon that this country, this government continues to use. Earlier, my sister Connie from the Board of Supervisors talked about the Alonis in this land. But nobody remembers or talks about that we're on stolen land. Stolen land. And how dare they, to this day, continue to do what they did to the Native Americans. They separated families. They took children, cut their hair, changed their names. In fact, sent some of them to San Francisco. So I want to respect Friendship House for the work that they've done with our Native Americans. And they continue to do that. 1989 was when we fought to make San Francisco a sanctuary city. 1989. And why are we having to come here today again? It's called racism. The Trump administration specifically is going after the Latino community. But we're not going to buy into that fear. Families today, please send your children to school. Do not fear. Go to church. Do not fear. Go to the park. Do not fear. Vayan a la escuela, no tengan miedo. Vayan a la iglesia, no tengan miedo. Vayan al parque, no tengan miedo. Y vayan a agarrar esos servicios de la comunidad, porque aquí estamos para protegerlos a cada uno de ustedes. And that's the message we are sending today. And let me tell you, thank you, Sister Olga. Come here. Thank you for bringing us together. But I tell you, I feel safe now because the chief of police was here, the sheriff is here, the public defender is here, the district attorney is here, and everybody from the firefighters are here. All the unions are here. We are in this together. So I feel safe. You feel safe. We feel safe.
We feel safe.
But let me talk about a little bit about Sister Supervisor Mirna Melgar. She said the Chamber of Commerce was missing. The Restaurant Association was missing. But let me tell you, like I shared yesterday with the mayor, 113 businesses have called me, owners, who are scared that their employees will get deported, and that means they will go out of business because nobody else is going to do the work for them. 33 corporations have called me because they're scared that their employees will be deported. 21 construction companies, contractors, have called me because they fear that their employees will be deported. 9 elderly homes have called me because they fear their employees will be deported. What does that tell you? Latinos are the engine, the workforce power of this city and this country. You cannot exist without us. So the danger of business closing is what we need to add on to this coalition. So let me end by saying that we have worked for minimum wage. We have become the new slave of America. That American dream, Trump is making it the American nightmare. Pero aquí estamos.
Y no nos vamos.
Aquí estamos.
Y no nos vamos.
ICE out of San Francisco, ICE out of California. Thank you.
I want to be able to, I mentioned already, our city assessor, Joaquin Torres.
Gracias, Olga. As a grandson of Mexican immigrants and as a public servant, I know that all of us are joined together in disgust at the level of callousness and cruelty that we're seeing from this administration. And at the same time, we're seeing the power of love, unity, and solidarity when the diversity of San Franciscans come together in support of our values. Sanctuary today, sanctuary forever. We know we heard that we did not ask for this fight, but we are here for it. In the words of Shakespeare, in peace, nothing so becomes a city as modest stillness and humility. But when the blasts of war blow in our ear, it's time to imitate the action of the tiger, stiffen our sinews, summon up our blood, disguise that fair nature with hard-favored rage. Rage for justice, rage for community, rage for our rights. The consortium of nonprofits that have joined here today with elected officials in our local governments and our bureaucracy, we have so many community-based organizations that we want to be sure that we recognize. Carecen, CAE 24, Nuevos Son Mujeres Unidos, Latino Task Force, BACR, Órale, Bay Area Community Resources, all the student hubs, Excelsior Strong, Asian Law Caucus, Chinatown Community Development Center, Poder, Mission Neighborhood Center, Clecha, Mission Action Network, CANA, San Francisco Immigration Legal Defense Collaborative, Mission Language Vocational School, Good Samaritan, the Latino Parity and Equity Coalition, Ganalia de la Raza, and anyone else. If we're missing anybody, please shout it out. Please shout it out. Orale, we got us, we got us. Sanctuary today, sanctuary forever. Orale, si se puede.
So at this time, we want to be able to just again reiterate to everyone, thank you so much, our gratitude. In Spanish, there's a saying, no mal que por bien no venga. There isn't a bad that won't bring a good outcome. That outcome is to show the country, show the world, San Francisco is united. Is united, is united. No hay mal que por bien no venga, que ese mal, lo que único que trajo es para poder mostrarle al mundo y al país que estamos unidos en San Francisco. De veras, de parte de todos nuestros miles de miembros que representamos, muchas gracias por haber dado la cara esta mañana, for showing up for our janitors. But it's not just janitors, it's workers everywhere. And what all of us together, electeds, officials, police, everybody is showing is this is the way you do it. This is the way we do it. We speak up, we stand up for each other. And again, social media is great. Social media is great. That instant gratification, the problem is that it's not vetted information. And what we are educating our members and workers, everybody with this opportunity is only the news outlets are the only reliable source because they can't post anything that's not been checked, not been verified. And with that, we want to make sure that message gets out. We don't want to add more fuel to the rumors, to the panic. We want to make sure that people understand that these are lives that you are messing around with when you post something unverified. And so, again, I just want to be able to reiterate this. We're going old school, if you can believe that. We're telling everybody, check your news. Look at the news, whether it's in the morning, whether it's at 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or 11 o'clock. This is our moment to come together. But we need to re-educate the public that the instant gratification that TikTok does or Instagram does, it's not helping us in this cause. We are calling on all of the news media. We're calling on all of the communities and affiliates that we represent. We want to make sure, vet your information first. Let's all be responsible caretakers of where we work, where we send the people that we represent. We want everybody to feel safe. Queremos que todos se sientan seguros. Hay que vetar la información que estamos diseminando. With that, if there's any questions, I'm sorry. I have a message from State Senator Scott Wiener, who has up in the state capitol wanted to have this message read.
Buenos dias. Senator Wiener is in Sacramento today working on the state budget, so he could not be here, but he asked me to read the following statement. Tell him your name. I'm Omar Rincon. I stand in full solidarity with the members of SEIU Local 87 and with all immigrant communities in San Francisco. We are seeing a corrupt, authoritarian government begin a dangerous campaign of fear to push immigrants out of public life. The new administration wants to make every immigrant family live in fear to distract them from allowing the richest men in the world to loot our country and the services that have protected us for generations. I want to be very clear. Immigrants make our city and our country a better place. Immigrants improve our culture, our community, and so much more. Immigrants work, pay taxes, start businesses, and raise their kids. These cruel threats and shady, secretive raids are making our neighbors afraid to report to work, to seek medical care, and to report crimes. Mass deporting millions of immigrants will make our country worse and poorer. I have the honor of chairing the Senate Budget Committee. We are committed to supporting our immigrant communities as they face this assault. We just passed legislation increasing funding for legal services for immigrants facing deportation. Our janitors keep our city running. They are the salt of the earth who just want to live their lives safely. We don't need ICE in San Francisco. ICE needs to get out and leave our janitors and our immigrant communities alone. I stand with Local 87. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everybody who's showing up. We're doing questions? No. Thank you so much, everybody. Que viva la unión. Power, not panic. Power.
Not panic.
Power.
Not panic.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Gracias.